Hello, my collective. How are you doing? So, I'm going to give you a little bit of a heads up of what's to come this week from December 9th through the 15th of 2019. I'm going to take a look a little bit of what's going on astrologically, what's going on with our planetary transits, and also give you a little bit of an idea of what's to come in relationships. I did pull out some cards prior to pressing record. I'm not going to go into the weekly reading just because I did post it on YouTube. So please check out my weekly reading. I really dove deep into relationship issues this week. Okay, so from Monday, from the beginning, mid, and end, I really walk you through what is going on with relationships. Okay, so let's begin with Monday here. What's important to let my collective know here? Okay, so we got Mercury in Sagittarius. Mercury is all about the brain. It's about how we think. It's how we speak as well as communication. It's our thought process. It's in Sagittarius, so we might be feeling a little bit more optimistic. We might be thinking more uplifting thoughts, which is great. Sagittarius is all about expansion, right? Upbeat, optimism, possibilities. You really want to think about these infinite possibilities that are available to you. This is what your mind space will feel like on Monday. The moon, which speaks of our emotional tone, how we feel, is in Taurus. So this is very good because Taurus is more grounded. It's an earth sign, and so it's favorable with all this Capricorn that's in the air. Venus is in Capricorn, Saturn's in Capricorn, Pluto's in Capricorn. So maybe emotionally you might feel more stable and grounded in accomplishing tasks, work tasks. Okay, so there's more of this stability in terms of your emotions, which is great because we need to feel a little bit more grounded than last week. Tuesday, the moon will enter Gemini. Now, Gemini is an air sign. So it's all about communication and ideas and thoughts and socialization, right? So if you know a Gemini, they're really social. They really like talking to other people. They like to express their ideas. However, on Tuesday, this is where things get a little bit rocky. So the moon is in Gemini, but it's opposing Mercury, that's in Sagittarius. Gemini is ruled by Mercury, the planet of communication. So, on a positive note, mentally on Tuesday, we can feel very busy. Okay, so we're like focused on a lot of stuff at the same time. If you know a Gemini, they're very scattered, but they're able to multitask somehow in that scattered brain. So you might have a lot of communication during that time. So meetings, correspondence, right? Replying back to emails and stuff like that. Getting back to people. So it's a busy day in terms of the mental state. So what we have to be careful with this type of energy is that maybe you might have too much on your plate. Maybe you might be a little bit unfocused. Okay, so just pay attention to that on Tuesday. And then moving into Wednesday, we have our beautiful full moon, which will be in Gemini. There's a lot of Gemini in the air, guys. So this full moons, what does this mean? We're coming to a completion, okay? We are coming full circle. In this sense, the sun and the moon are always opposing each other, right? When it's a full moon, this full moon specifically is a little bit difficult because it's really asking ourselves, because the sun is in Sagittarius, right? And the moon is in Gemini, and Sagittarius wants to expand and wants freedom, okay? Whereas Gemini wants you to think about all these things that are going on. And then we have Venus and Saturn. So from the full moon starting on Wednesday to Thursday, full moons actually test relationships, right? It really brings something to culmination. So an issue that maybe has been dusted under the rug and is now coming up, Okay, so this is why we always say we have to really deal with our issues, because even if we brush them under the rug, they will come out. They will come out at one point, and it's in these transits that you feel it the most. So what is it asking you? This full moon is really testing you on how much of yourself. So remember, we talked about Chiron in Aries. Aries meaning self-identity. How much of you, your identity, are you compromising in your relationships? So relationships, guys, can be romantic. Relationships can be with family. Relationships can be with your coworkers, with your friends. But romantic relationships will be affected a lot this week. So how much of yourself are you preserving in your relationship? And how much are you giving away? So there might be this sense of, I don't feel like I can speak up. I don't feel like I could be myself. I feel like I always have to please or tone myself down. So this is an issue. It means that, you know, your sense of individuality in your relationship is compromised. So this is what you're looking at. You're looking at how much of myself do I need to compromise versus how much of myself do I need to really come into power. Okay, so are you keeping your sense of individuality and your sense of self in your relationship? You're going to feel this week in your relationships. So how much of yourself do you need to mold, you know, and which is something that you're not going to feel comfortable with in this type of energy. So with Venus, so leading into, so that's Wednesday, but remember, full moon, new moons, this is energy that lingers for many days and even weeks ahead, okay? So going into Thursday, we have Saturn aligning with Venus. Now, Venus is the planet of relationships, so this is why a lot of astrologers are speaking of relationships being a big theme this week, because Saturn is asking Venus, the planet of relationships, the planet of love, if you will, you know, how committed are you to working on your relationship? Is this relationship being strengthened by what you're doing, by the work you're putting in? Are you even putting any work in your relationship? Okay, so this is really a make it or break it type of week. So, you know, astrologers predict that there might be some breakups and separations this week, leading to the end of the week here, because we're finally realizing, and not all relationships are going to be like this, but in some relationships that have a weak foundation where you feel like there's a lot of blockages, there's a lot of challenges, and Saturn is saying, well, what are you doing about this? What are you doing about these blockages and challenges? And if, you know, you're coming together with someone who is not meeting you halfway, then that's where there's a breakdown. So are you going to be able to work on your relationship? Or are you just going to decide that this relationship no longer supports your future? This is what the astrology is trying to tell all of us. Are you living in your truth? Are you doing things that support who you are? Okay, so for a lot of people, this is going to trigger a lot of people, because people are still living the old ways of being, the old ways of thinking, the old traditions, the old system. Okay, but we're moving into a new system, guys. So this is why a lot of readers are picking up on karmic lessons. You know, you'll take a look at my weekly video. It speaks of karmic lessons, a karmic X, a karmic past life, returning, because people are suddenly realizing what their worth is. And if you are being encouraged to look into that, then maybe you should take a step back this week and really try to figure out what is strengthening your relationship. Are you even coming from a place of strength in this relationship? Is there a solid foundation that you can build on? But it takes two people, right, to build that foundation. So, you know, the astrology really is pushing us towards relationships and jobs and things that support us, that make us feel not only supported, but emotionally supported, and a place where we can feel like we can lean on each other, okay? And communication wise as well, because how can you strengthen a relationship without any communication? So this is what's going on this week. So by the end of the week, the astrology seems to lighten up a little bit. However, I mean, if you're going through some challenges in your relationship, it's gonna be a little bit of a dark night of the soul type of energy, which we've all been through, and we all need to go through that dark night of the soul in order to grow. I mean, no one can bypass that type of energy. You can try, but at one point, Saturn, which is the grandfather of astrology and is the lord of karma, comes in with Venus out of all the planets this week. The planet of relationships, telling us, well, what work did you put in? Are you committed to this? How committed is this person in this relationship towards you? So be careful. You can't delay things for so long. I mean, this is what the energy is saying. So I'm going to show you what came up. I have a lot of cards on my desk. Where can I begin here? So you see the first card that came up was this, flirt. For some of you, you're dealing with people who are not serious, okay? Some of you are dealing with people who are not serious, who just want to play games, okay? They're really telling you that you need, in order for you to have a relationship that works in this new world that we're about to embark in, okay? This new world, this new age, this new earth in 2020. You really need to put in the work. Give your relationship a chance. Work on your partnership, okay? Spiritually speaking, I think a lot of people are going through these spiritual awakenings here. This is why I got the religious factors card. So if you're not aligned spiritually and you feel like your energies are a little bit, out of sync, this is where a conversation needs to be had. So we got to express your feelings, express your love. But for me, this is expressing how you feel. Okay. Now, for others, I got this card in my weekly reading. Okay. Return. For the ones who are single, people are feeling regretful at this point. People who really did us wrong can come back, okay, and feel like this sense of emptiness because they know they effed up. A lot of people started feeling this emptiness in their relationships in the summertime, where things started getting more challenging. Some people are dealing with people who are very attached to the material world, and this is what is creating a block for a lot of you. Okay, so I do see separation for some of you. I do see separation, and they're telling you it's all a matter of time. Okay, for some of you that are experiencing a lot of issues, okay? Communication, like I said, you might be hearing from a past ex, from a lover from the past. Even if you're in a relationship, you might be hearing from someone. That's just the way it goes sometimes. In the winter time, the people who think that are trying to understand when the separation will happen, well, sometime in the winter. This is just going to be energy that's going to be catapulted in the next few weeks. Someone here is being very distant. Okay, these are the shadows now that I'm presenting you with. When someone is distant with you, then that weakens the relationship, okay? Someone is being very irresponsible with their actions. That's part of their shadow work, what they need to work on. Some people here in relationships tend to project their fears, insecurities, doubts onto you. Okay, so if someone's using projection, this is a shadow side that does not work. You cannot project how you feel in a negative sense. You can't project that onto someone, okay, and put that shit on them. We're dealing with escapist behaviors, people that don't want to deal with the issue, that don't want to communicate. because they feel uncomfortable. Okay, but you need to get uncomfortable. You need to feel discomfort in order to grow. That's how it happens in relationships, like in any other situation. Now, if there's a lack of chemistry and passion between you guys, then this is what Spirit is saying. Then there's something missing here. I feel like there's something missing. A lot of you are not opening up in your relationships, okay, because you're still holding on to past situations, things that maybe they've done. There's some type of forgiving and learning this week for people who are in couples or in relationships that, that have been together for a long time. There's some type of forgiving and learning. And also children are involved here. So are these your children? Or you're dealing with someone from your childhood. Okay, so take it as it resonates, but children plays a role here. So I hope these messages were insightful, guys. I really did feel like I needed the messages to come out. So please let me know how everything is this upcoming week. And if you have any questions, don't hesitate to, message me on Instagram or wherever you're watching this. So have a great week, and I'll speak to you soon.